take off, take flight with you. For we never fly, but we're flying.
Welcome back to Take Flight Podcast. This is episode 80 of Take Flight Podcast, and it's the fourth in our new series called Take Flight Takeaways. I'm sure by now you're familiar with how these episodes go, but if you're not, these are solo episodes where we share takeaways, topics, and recommendations that have impacted our lives. In today's episode, I want to share with you along the lines of fueling kindness and volunteering. Many of you know that volunteering is something I hold very close to my heart, and I want to share a bit more about why and how you may want to consider getting involved. I will structure this into why I like to volunteer, why you may want to consider volunteering, and also how you can get involved in volunteering. Firstly, I want to say that volunteering is more than just giving your money away. It's something that's probably more valuable than money, giving your time. When I was structuring what I wanted to share, I started to think back to when did I start to see this in practice. When I say this, I mean volunteering of time, money, resources, skills, etc. And it took me back to my childhood. When I was growing up, my parents always modeled volunteering just how they lived, whether it be giving away their time, giving away money, or helping others in need. And I lived this, in a practical sense. I recall vividly a time when my dad and I were driving home, just the two of us, and there was an elderly lady walking with some shopping bags, but just about walking, she was struggling. Soon after my dad had seen this, he pulled over to the side of the road and had a short few words with me. And I got out the car and I offered my assistance to the lady by asking if she needed any help with her bags. She didn't decline, and my dad said to her, "Don't worry, he'll help you with wherever you need to go with your bags, with your shopping." Fortunately for me, it was just a short walk, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and not too far from home, so I could make my own way home. But from then, I just saw that this wasn't something that my parents did, it's something that they also encouraged us to do. And it also showed me that opportunities are everywhere. We just need to open our eyes that being able to help someone may not be so far away. It could just be right in front of us on our doorstep. Back to why I volunteer and why it's something that's important to me. I'm fortunate to work for a company that volunteering is very much part of the culture. And it's one of the main attributes that encouraged me and attracted me to the company itself. And the reason why I like to volunteer, or I want to volunteer, is I like to want to help improve things, to help people, I want to help people, especially those who are in need, those who are less fortunate, and also wanting to make a positive difference in those lives. I also look for opportunities where I can learn from others through interaction. And many of my volunteering experiences have been those where I get to interact with others. The wanting to serve others is something that's deeply ingrained in me. And also, I've also thought about my legacy. What do I want to be remembered for? What do I want to leave behind? I ultimately want to leave the world in a better place than when I entered it. I don't consider myself someone who's going to be able to change the whole world, but what I may be able to do is to change one life at a time with just my interactions and being deliberate about doing so. I'm going to share with you some examples of volunteering experiences that I've had. And this isn't to toot my own horn. This is just maybe to open your mind about things you can consider doing, or things you may not have considered that you may want to do. These include building houses in Zambia, in Lesotho. For those, I've tried to do one build a year, but COVID has brought an abrupt pause to that. But I look to continue that in the future. I've also done some renovating some homes for homeless veterans in the UK. I've partnered with Age UK, weekly telephone calls with an elderly partner. Many of you probably heard about my conversations with Sylvia. We spoke for over 3.5 years. Love Sylvia to bits. I always look forward to having conversations with her. We spoke very frequently, more than once a week. Unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago. And after that, I decided to take about a year break just to kind of get back onto terms of things, because it was quite difficult. We'd grown fond of each other very dearly. And I've been speaking with Gwyneth, who's 96, for over a year and a half now, and thoroughly love learning from her experiences, her challenges, how she overcame them. I don't know why she wants to talk to me. I really very much enjoy learning from her, but it's a nice exchange, and we both um, really enjoy the conversations that we have on a weekly basis. I've done some experiences with feeding the homeless around London, late into the hours, Christmas soup kitchens, and also tutoring. Again, these aren't to share. I'm sharing these not because I'm trying to say I'm better, I'm perfect, or I'm really good, or a good person. No, not at all. It's just to really share with you some experiences that you may want to consider in the future. So, why do I think you may want to consider volunteering? Or put it this way, it's in our human nature to feel good after helping someone, like giving money to a stranger that you may have done, or a friend, hopefully in a good situation. Helping someone with a buggy down a flight of stairs. We often feel good after doing so. So why not be deliberate and be consistent in doing such things for others, acts of service for others on a more proactive, more deliberate, and more consistent basis? If you're feeling shy about doing it yourself, why not partner with a friend? Why not partner with a group of friends and do something in your local community? There are many opportunities, even in these, the word we've heard, unprecedented times. Many people have been struggling. It could be a neighbor, could be a friend, could be a family friend, family member who's finding these times very challenging. Could even be just having a phone call with them on a more frequent basis. It could be buying some of their grocery shopping for them. Something that may be so small and insignificant to you could be significant and very big for someone else. I recall listening to a TED talk a few years ago, and the gentleman said, if you have to give back, you've probably taken too much. So why not try not to think about having a certain amount in your bank account, attaining a certain social status or class before you think about helping others who are less fortunate or those who are in need. Do it along the way. It's something I always try and say. Genuine giving will improve our lives as much as anyone else's. It's not something we have to sacrifice to make happen. I encourage you to think about that. It's not something we have to sacrifice to make happen. And when you volunteer, do it out of the goodness of your heart. Don't look for accolades. Don't look for affirmation. Don't look for being someone who's done something so profound. Just do it because you want to do it. So you may, if by now I'm hoping you're still listening, and I hope you found it encouraging, and maybe you're now thinking, oh, I want to volunteer. So how can I go about doing so? Well, there are many resources online that could help you in the search of looking for experiences or opportunities to volunteer. There's Volunteering Matters. There's doit.life, which is a website. There's Reach Volunteering. There's also Age UK, which you've heard me speak about. And there's also Habitat for Humanity, who I've done these house builds around the world with. So with that, I hope it's been insightful. I hope you've got to learn a bit more about why I like to volunteer, why it's important to me, the benefits that you could also get from volunteering, and where you could look to volunteer. I want to leave you with sharing something my dad sent to me many years ago. Every day, your life touches other lives in unseen ways. You don't have to know someone personally in order to experience the blessing of their legacy. Like walking into an empty room and catching a whiff of someone's perfume. Your impact can continue to be felt long after you're gone. Usually we associate legacies with dying, and we don't particularly like the topic. Or we assume that since our legacy won't be revealed for years, we don't need to start investing in it now. In some cases, we feel like we've little or no control over what we leave behind anyway. Not so. A good man leaves an inheritance. What will yours be? More importantly, what's it going to cost you? Since the best gifts aren't always handed down in your will, why not try for something more meaningful? Something that points to who you were. It's one thing to measure success by the money in your bank account, the size of your property holdings, and the value of your stocks portfolio. It's entirely another to measure it by intangibles like being a faithful marriage partner, raising great kids, building God's kingdom, and leaving your light burning brightly when you go. All great legacies come with a price tag. To move beyond mediocrity, you must invest every day in the accounts of those who follow you. I thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it encouraging and empowering. As always, if you have any feedback for us, please find us on Instagram at TakeFlightPodcast, or you can email us at takeflightpodcast@gmail.com. I hope you stay safe and well. God bless.
Take off, take